This terrible drug scandal in the Bronx is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. If you haven't heard about this, and you probably have, it's just unfathomable in the United States of America. So there's four babies, all right, in a daycare center in the Bronx, New York. And their parents are working people trying to earn a living to support the babies. All right, so the child care center, Divino Nino, divine child in Spanish, is also a drug distribution point for fentanyl. So the fentanyl gets in the air and kills 1-year-old Nicholas Dominici. All right, one of the cutest kids you've ever seen. He's dead. All right, another infant is in critical condition. And then an 8-month girl and another 2-year-old boy are in the hospital. So this is just a catastrophe, right? So the daycare owner, Gray Menendez de Ventura, 36 years old, and a tenant, Carlisto Brito, 41, been arrested on manslaughter charges and others. But the federal government is now charging them because the feds don't trust the state of New York to prosecute anything. So this is now a federal beef, again, because the New York DAs are derelict in their duty. And the feds know it. Even the Justice Department knows it. Okay, now, who is responsible? We Americans always don't want a blame game, but in this case, there is blame. Number one is the legislature in Albany that passed the insane no bail laws and don't want to punish heinous criminals. You sell someone poison, that should be a Class A felony all day long across the board. But no. Let me give you an unbelievable example because we've been following this story. It's a guy named Manuel Pagan. All right. On November 11th, 2022, almost a year ago, police arrested him with 20,000 fentanyl pills, enough to kill 20,000 people. The next day, Pagan was out on the street, no bail. 20,000 pills. Now, he pled it down. It's no longer a Class A felony, and he'll be sentenced next Wednesday, or is it tomorrow? One of the two will be there. Okay? We will tell you, no, it's tomorrow, 9 a.m., he's going to be sentenced. We will tell you what Pagan gets. But the fact that he was out on the street less than 24 hours after the bust tells you the New York State legislature is corrupt. Kathy Hochul is the governor, doesn't care. Andrew Cuomo, the previous governor, signed the no bail law. Okay, all of them are responsible for the death of this 1-year-old and possibly another baby and the injuries to 2 others who will never be the same, by the way. Those kids are never going to be the same mentally. Okay, so then you have the community. Everybody knows where the dope is being cut, distributed, and sold in these urban neighborhoods. Everybody who lives near there knows it. Has there been any community outrage? Any demonstrations? Anything in the Bronx? No, nothing. Nothing. Communities, I understand they're afraid. I understand, but you get a couple of thousand people who demonstrate against this barbarity, and the ministers and priests and rabbis should be organizing it. The churches should be organizing it. Nothing. Nothing. Couldn't happen in my towns. There would be en masse demonstrations. People be out. Bronx, not a win. Nothing. You're responsible. Okay? Then the progressive attitude on drugs. Drug dealing, progressive left, they don't care. They don't care. Sell heroin, crack cocaine, fentanyl, whatever, poison across the board. They don't care. No bail, victimless crime. Obama started that, by the way. Obama himself started that. Oh, these are drug addicts. Oh, you feel sorry for them. Rehab, rehab, rehab. They don't want rehab, most of these people. They want to sell and take their drugs. Okay? And then finally, President Biden's responsible. Open border. Look at it. Listen to these stats. They're unbelievable. And he does nothing. Biden sits there and does nothing. All right, 2022, Border Patrol stats. 15,000 pounds of fentanyl seized. And you can imagine how much more got in. A record by far, so far this year. So far, the 17,600 pounds of fentanyl seized. So far, it's only September. What's Biden doing? Nothing. Doesn't care a whit about babies dying or anybody else dying from fentanyl. Doesn't care. There's no reason why he can't write an executive order, okay, closing that border down right now, suspending all asylum claims for at least 6 months. He can do that right now. Nope, won't do it, because he doesn't care. And that's what this is all about. I want to see the 1-year-old who's dead, all right, one more time. This poor little boy, literally poor, okay? He was murdered by these fentanyl people. Nicholas Dominici, he was murdered by them, but it was enabled by the legislature and governor of New York and the president of the United States. And that is the truth. And all you people in the Bronx, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for allowing this stuff to go on. And you priests and rabbis and ministers, you cowards, what do? You're supposed to be community leaders. You never see that here in New York. That's a memo.